Warning! Warning! The following video is intended for educational and entertainment use only. The content will include disturbing images, violent scenarios, and explicit language. This video is intended for 18 plus and older audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome everyone to Infinitely Productions. And now here's the ongoing feud between Joey Merlino and Gene Borrello. Gene Borrello strikes again. Recently he has just posted a video on his channel Gene Borrello on YouTube regarding his ongoing feud with Joey Merlino. Next week, October 22nd on Wednesday, Netflix is dropping their series called Mob War, Philadelphia versus the Mafia. The official trailer dropped on September 24th, 2025 and has already garnered 1/3 of a million views. Gene Borrello has put his take on it and he's anticipating to watching it. He is already calling out Joey Merlino since he is not interested about the Netflix series that is based on his life that occurred during the 1990s. One of the reasons Gene Borrello is calling Joey Merlino out is because also he noticed the opening of the trailer. You can hear the voice of Johnny Veasey. We have covered Johnny Veasey in previous videos, and for those who are not familiar with him, he's the former mobster that worked under the John Stanford regime against Joey Merlino and then became a government witness to inform the government that he was the trigger man that not only shot Joey Merlino, but also took the life of his friend, Michael Ciancaglini.
The FBI knew, before he was killed, that Michael Ciancaglini in the red jacket was on a hit list. Knew that John Stanford was plotting the death of a young associate who got cute with his daughter, Sarah. Heard Stanford threaten to pull out the tongue of this enemy, Gaten Lucibello. And listen to what mob figures said after Mario Riccobini got cacked in the parking lot of a South Jersey diner. They heard no sorrow or pity, because Riccobini was an informant who shouldn't have moved back home. They also heard a lot about how Stanford's food distribution business in Gray's Ferry was the envy of some New York crime figures. Lots of mafia violence still plays out in the streets of Philadelphia, but it's been suspected that the leadership has been across the river in South Jersey for years. And that's what the FBI felt they proved when they started bugging the office of Camden lawyer Salvatore Ravina, the lawyer for John Stanford. Now, Stanford first made news in 1980 as the silent Sicilian who drove Angelo Bruno home on the night he was killed. He kept his mouth shut when questioned, served time, shaved his beard, grew beefy. By the 1990s, he lived in this house in rural Medford, New Jersey, and the things he discussed in his lawyer's office from October of 91 through September of 93 were all captured on tape by federally authorized wiretaps. Here's some of what the feds overheard. Stanford and his consigliere, the man on the right named Tony Buck Piccolo, constantly discussed what to do about the local mob's young Turks, Michael Ciancaglini and Joey Merlino. Stanford complained about their lack of respect. Tony Buck said they had no brains. In 2 years of listening, the FBI first heard of their plans to make peace with the wise guys that Stanford called the Little Americans, and then a year later planned to murder them and dump their bodies in quick-drying cement. The wiretap caught Stanford complaining that he had no local able-bodied hitmen he could count on. Eventually, he hired two to carry out the ambush we can all recall, how Michael Ciancaglini was killed on a busy corner in the middle of an August afternoon, and how skinny Joey Merlino walked away with a bullet in the butt.
But that is one of the main reasons why Gene Borrello is calling Merlino out, because he thinks that he has fear for Johnny Veasey, since that is the gunman that claimed to have shot him on that fatal day in 1993 that took his friend's life and seriously wounded him in the buttocks and leg. One of the things that we want to bring to your attention is that Joey Merlino has never acknowledged who had shot him. He never likes to talk about it, nor likes to acknowledge it, as he mentioned on Vlad TV interview.
Okay, and the rumor is that two gunmen that Stanford actually hired were the ones who did it.
I have no idea. I have no idea who shot me to this day. They say this one did it, that one did it. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't even want to talk about it.
One of the things that Gene Borrello will mention in this video is that John Alite is also in that video. He has a good relationship with John Alite, but he disagrees with John Alite when John Alite is mentioned in the video, saying that Philadelphia was more dangerous than New York. For those who are not familiar with John Alite was a former mobster and a former Gambino associate. Meanwhile, Gene Borrello is now a podcaster, but is also a former associate of the Merlino crime family, and he has been continuing his ongoing feud with the reputed mob boss of Philadelphia, Joey Merlino. Borrello has also claimed that Joey Merlino and other people that he's associated with were shelved and that no one respects him in Philadelphia. And in case you want to hear from the man himself, here is the clip from Gene Borrello.
What's up, guys? So, for yous that don't understand why Joey Merlino's mad at that Netflix thing and why he wants nothing to do with it, is because John Veasey's on there. John Veasey was a real serious, dangerous guy out of Philly and shot Joey in his ass and killed his friend. And Joey was terrified of him. And he abuses Joey on this Netflix thing. I'm trying to get John Veasey on my podcast. Awesome dude. I spoke to a fan member of his. We're trying to get him on. It'll be hysterical. As far as Johnny Alite on the preview, him saying that Philly was worse than New York, I don't know why he's saying that. But I mean, you know, me and Johnny are very close, but sometimes he just says things that he don't mean. That's not the case. Philly was nowhere near like New York. It was dangerous, but small. It was so small. And maybe just because it was such less people than New York has, and I guess it would make it very violent, but it was nothing like New York. New York was 100 times worse in every category for the organized crime. But, like I said, he's furious over it because there's a lot of guys on there abusing him and calling him out for the piece of that he is. Because he's very well known as a Philly. Nobody really liked him. You know, he got abused. Everybody's going with his wife. So this Netflix thing's dropping the 22nd. Stanford calls him a rat. Stanford tried to kill him multiple times. Did not respect him. Did not recognize him. And that's why Joey was scared to go to Italy. So this is going to be good. I just had to bring it up because he's been complaining like crazy about Netflix. So let's see.
So as you heard, Gene Borrello has also mentioned that he's trying to get Johnny Veasey on the program. He is armed and ready to humiliate Joey Merlino and anybody that supports him. Johnny Veasey hasn't really made too many television public appearances except the one that he did with David Schratweiser several years ago. The Netflix documentary series will once again air next week on October 22nd. It'll be the first time that he's ever spoken to any public format, especially in the digital age. This will be the streaming services. They're expected to be two-part series of the Philadelphia crime saga covering the Philadelphia crime family on Netflix. There has been no movie acting adaptation of the Philadelphia crime family, but this is more the modern take. And Joey Borrello has also been done interviews with John Alite on several different podcasts, which we recommend that you both check it out just to hear from both men and their claims against their adversaries. Please let us know down in the comments of what you think. If you have any suggestions on any other different crime figures that we should cover over, please let us know in the comment section down below, and we'd like to hear your feedback. This is Infly Productions.
"15 years ago on the morning John Veasey was set to testify against mob boss John Stanfa, two mob hitmen stood on the corner across the street in the pouring rain. As Veasey's brother Billy pulled to the corner in his SUV, the gunman opened fire, murdering Billy Veasey. John Veasey got on the witness stand anyway and testified against Stanfa. Now, for the first time, he speaks publicly about his brother's murder and the murders he committed.
The families are hurt. I'm sorry.
Former mob hitman John Veasey insists he's sorry for killing Michael Cianglini and Frank Baldino during his days in the local mob. Now, more than 15 years after those gangland-style murders, he says he's a changed man. The old John Veasey is gone. The new Veasey goes by another name and has another outlook on life.
I couldn't spell Mensing Avenue. You know what? I still can't spell it. But I make good money. Nobody's coming to take it from me. I used to have the license plate. The Lord giveth, the feds take it away. You know, life. The Lord gives it, John takes it away. But no more. Now I give. And whether that's legit to you people or not, it doesn't matter to me because it's off my back. I go to church and pray for that. So that's off my back. I mean, whatever's going to happen to me, I got to deal with happens to me on that issue.
Veasey served 12 years in prison for those two mob murders. He survived being shot in the head during his street days and being beaten in prison. But no one can forget how he turned on mob boss John Stanfa. He testified against Stanfa, putting the Sicilian mob boss away for life, along with nearly 30 other wise guys.
They're going to shoot me, yet they create me. It's kind of like Terminator. You create this guy, and then after you want to take him out. How'd that work out for him?
Veasey testified despite the fact that the mob murdered his brother Billy the day he was set to take the stand against Stanfa.
Did that ever deter you from getting on the witness stand after that happened?
Well, no. No. I mean, what would be the sense? I mean, not to testify and do what? Do life in prison for people that want to kill me anyway?
Veasey's been a feared man ever since in South Philly. The local wise guys are terrified he might return and seek revenge for his brother's murder. Veasey says, no way.
So as we sit here today, you don't want to do that anymore?
I didn't want to do that since '05. They avenged it for me. I mean, think about it. They're still there. They're still killing each other. They're still living in a row house.
But Veasey wasn't so convincing a few months back when he started taunting the local mob on Facebook, claiming he might return after some of the wise guys made disparaging remarks to his sister. Veasey even posted his picture shoveling snow during last winter's blizzard, making it look like he was in town to settle a score.
Did you ever think about going back to Philly and settling a score or anything?
Till I met my wife, that was my only plan. You know, I thought about it for 12 years. My brain, that's all I thought about for 12 years. Because I still don't know why they killed him.
Veasey says he has no plans to avenge his brother's murder. He's leaving that to a higher authority.
And believe me, I ain't gone home. There's nothing home for me.
Are you all right that nobody's ever been held accountable for your brother's murder?
Yeah, I am. You know why? Heaven, hell, wherever it is, we're all going to go. I'll see them there. And hopefully they'll come wherever we're at.
But Veasey also knows his former running mates in the mob are still afraid of him.
They have a reason to be afraid. I mean, if for some reason, you know, I went back there would only be one reason to go back. And that would be to cause mass destruction. You know, and, but they killed somebody that I loved. And I killed somebody that other people love. So going to church and talking to my wife about it, it's all relevant at the end of the day. We're all here for a purpose. You know, like I believe that there's a better purpose for me here, somehow, some way. I don't know what that is, but I ain't going back to South Philly.
So while the Philly mob may not have to worry about John Veasey exacting revenge for his brother's murder, next week Veasey will talk about the local mob, current mob boss Joe Legambi and former mob boss Joey Merlino, who's about to get out of jail at the beginning of next year. That's part 3 of John Veasey's story next Monday night at 10 on the Fox 29 News. In South Philadelphia, Dave Stratweiser, Fox 29 News.
Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to our channel and check out more of our content. Feel free to give your feedback and suggestions on what we should do next in the comments. This is Infinite Lee Productions. We love ya.